What's up, guys? What you see here is a Envirofan Goldline from 1987. This fan is installed out here in my garage. I've had this up here for about just over half a year. I put this up in August of 2024. I got this fan from a fellow collector at the PA meet back in June. So wait, I'm sorry. I wired this fan back in August, but I hung it in July. I hung it in July, wired it in August. So this is from 1987. There was a lot of 4. This is the last one he had for sale. I bought it up because this is the first Envirofan Goldline that I've never owned. This is not the first Envirofan I've owned, but this is the first Goldline and the first curved-bladed industrial I've owned. So, not the greatest wiring job. I had to do a lot of wrapping up right there. It's just very temporary. I mean, also, it's not supposed to look pretty. It's in a garage. It's just supposed to be kind of functional. I have it on a solid state control that I bought off of Amazon. These actually work surprisingly well. I bought this a few years ago, and I had no complaints about it. There's a trim, has a low-speed trim on it too, so that also comes in handy. So this is about as slow as it'll go without stalling out. It's not the quietest on that control, but it works. You know, it's a garage. No one really cares if the fan's quiet or not, as long as it's just moving air. So I got this fan, at least for a Goldline, relatively cheap. It was like $20 or something like that. It was like I had to pick out the blades. So like there is quite the possibility that these blades are not original to this fan. But they came from the same lot and they fit. So I think this fan was made during the era where it was right after Envirofan switching from Union in Hong Kong to Taiwan. So I think that was in like 1985. I think. I could be very wrong on that, but this was made in that kind of era where they were switching from the Hong Kong manufacturer, which I believe was Union, to whoever the Taiwanese manufacturer was. To turn up a little bit. About right there. I have used this control in a few other testing videos. Like there's a video I filmed of a Strato fan a while back. That was not my fan. I wish it was, but it was not. Pretty much a Goldline, but was Union and labeled Strato fan. I used this control. This is more of a functional low. The blades have a lot of creases in them. If I were to put this fan up somewhere, say like more residential, I guess, like in like a living room or a bedroom, I think one of these would actually look all right in a residential setting. I'd get probably new blades for it. I think I cannot talk today. Envirofan still sells blades of this fashion, with the 4 rivets and the curved tips. I think they've been using the same manufacturer since the 80s. But again, my industrial knowledge is very little. So if you have more insight, and if you can tell me I'm an idiot and I'm completely wrong, go right ahead. That's just what I know. Let's bring it up a little bit more. So I've had a few fans out here. Right there was a Hunter Preference out there, right there, for a little bit. Then there was an Envirofan Silverline from 2020. And then there was nothing. Over here was a Hunter Builders Elite, I think was the model name. Then there was a Union wood-bladed 4-blade spinner labeled Chadwick Miller. You can see where the control was on the wall right there. And then over there where those screw holes are, there was a Moss Caribbean Breeze right there. And then I had my blender fan right there. I do not have the Caribbean Breeze anymore, but I still do own the blender fan. This is more of a medium, it's staying underneath it. It's definitely feeling some airput coming down. It's moving more air throughout the room because of the curved tips. It kind of pushes air outward as well, but standing underneath it, you can definitely feel a breeze. This fan is on a J-hook, just like it would have been from the factory. You can see where I drilled it incorrectly, so I had to move it over a little bit. When I was first putting it up, I had my concerns of it hitting the garage door, like the metal that holds up the opener, but it cleared just fine. And I did that thing where I would move the motor all the way to the left, and it didn't contact anything at all. Like, it didn't contact that. I didn't contact the opener. It's not going to hit anything. It never will, but it's just kind of a close call. Turn it up a bit more. Just below high. This fan has everything original. I mean, like, this is how it would have looked installed back in 1987. Albeit, in better shape. The original capacitor, original wiring, the plug that plugs into that plug right there that goes down into the canopy, that is original to the fan as far as I know. That's what I got it with. So I'm assuming what it was packaged with. This is like just below high. And I can see why people compare, other industrials to these, because these are sort of like the Goldline, gold standard of industrial ceiling fans. These are very well made, very good performers. Let's turn it up to straight high. And this thing hauls. It is a very fast, very powerful. It does wobble a bit, but we only really use it on this speed if there's like there's like something on the floor that needs to be like dried. Like I've dried paint out here, and I've had the door open when it's sunnier outside. And this fan would dry. Sometimes we hang clothes out here. Like we have a clothesline we just put in the middle, and we use this fan to dry them. In addition to some of those fans over there. But yeah, this fan has proven itself to be very handy and also very powerful, I might add. At some point I might take it down and touch up the paint just on the down rod and on the bottom of the motor housing, or motor. All right, let's turn it off and I'll talk more about it as it spins down. So when I was little, I have one really vivid memory of seeing Goldlines when I was little. There is a movie theater about 10 minutes from me, and it's still there. The fans are still there. It was a Lennox when I was a little kid. It is something different now. Every theater had 2 black Envirofan Goldlines in every theater. So I saw them on once. They were like a low speed. They were pretty noisy, so I think they don't really use them because of that reason. Voice crack. So yeah, that's really the note of, like, the one I can really think of when I see Goldlines. And I always thought they were cool looking because it was one of the first industrial fans other than like Dayton's at Home Depot or something that I remember seeing. And I always thought they were kind of cool looking. because they were different than like what I was used to seeing, which were like more residential type fans with wood blades and motor housing and stuff like that. It was just a cool looking fan. What was I gonna say? I don't really, off the top of my head, I mean, I'm sure I've seen more Goldlines. You know, they're not rare around here. They're not like terribly common. But that's really the only notable example I can think of when I see Goldlines. So this one, let me go on the stairs so I can kind of get higher, is labeled Banville. It says Banville Envirofan. I think they stopped labeling like that in, I've heard 1995, but it could have been earlier, it could have been later. I'm not too sure. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And there's like an indent in one of the blades right there. You see it right there. I don't know what that could have been. Some sort of projectile was in the air and it just hit the fan. So I think these did come out of a warehouse or something to that effect is what I was told. So a commercial application is where this came out of. Bearings aren't like stiff, but they're not like perfect. Like they're not like smooth as butter, but they're not bad. They're not noisy. But yeah, that's really about it. This has been my 1987 Envirofan Goldline ceiling fan. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.